Hello, everybody. I've got here a Taiwanese band. It's pretty old, actually. I think like the early 2000s. The school I went to had some foreign exchange students, and one of them had given me, I guess it was a mixed CD of their first album, because later on, whenever I tried to find their songs online, when I finally did, the order was kind of out of whack. So I think it was a mixed CD or something like that she had given to me. I don't know. But it's pop. There actually, it's kind of got one song in there's got a bit of a rock sound to it, but most of it is pop. And I'm actually a rocker. I believe at the time that I was listening to this, I was also listening to the Black Album. I remember my bus ride I was the first one on, first one off my bus, and it was an hour long. And I would listen to the Black Album at the beginning of the day and at the end of the school day. That was really cool. And this became one of the CDs that I would do that with for a long time. And yeah, I actually lost the CD, and it like really sucked because it's not very often that I find a group or an artist that I like every song on the CD enough to just listen to it over and over again. But later on, when I tried to find it online, it just was really hard to find. And then not too long ago, I actually found the songs on YouTube, and I had to go through and like find them individually. And I think they have 3 albums, and the one I had was their first album, and it's got a different sound than the other ones do. But yeah, I was really bummed out that I lost it, and then I was happy that I found it on YouTube. And then I've got this, which is really, really cool. So it's they're from Taiwan, so they speak Mandarin Chinese. And here has some of the songs from the first album, like Let It Go and Dream. But I think Happiness Download, Bikini, yeah, all of these are from their second or third album, I can't remember. And unfortunately, it's got a VCD, and I have nothing that can play that at all. I've even tried downloading VLC and or is it VCO? I can't remember. It's been a while. And tried using that, and it didn't work out either. So I guess it's like a video CD, but nothing does that anymore. So yeah. But I'll actually link the playlist of the first album. And I think the band is called Awakening. Alright, so I'm going to open this, take this out, and actually I've gotten Pantera hidden in here. And a quick thing, my stepmom gave me this because she didn't really like it. Whenever I listened to it, even though I was into Metallica Black, and like the other, like I was into Def Leppard and AC/DC and all that stuff. When I listened to this, it just didn't really hit with me. I think because the screaming, I'd actually never really heard screaming before, and it put me off. But of course, later on, it came back to Pantera, and I absolutely love Dimebag Darrell before I even knew about the incident. But to be honest with you, I'm actually a bigger fan of Damage Plan, because actually never really listened a lot to Pantera, but when I started looking into them, I found out that Dimebag had the band Damage Plan whenever he passed away, and so I got into that. And when I listened to their album, it was just another one of those albums I can listen to everything on there and just listen to the whole entire thing. And I think that's what I look for when I look into music, is finding a band that has an album that I love every song on, so I don't have to skip any. So it's actually really hard to find things for this band online. But yeah. I guess the front, yeah, the case is the same as the outside. And then we just have this case. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm lost in thought. I'm sorry. We have this booklet here. It's not really a booklet, it's just a big old poster. And I'm going to show you some weird inconsistency that's in it. And sorry you can't see the whole thing in the whole frame. Or in the frame. Get out of here. Come on now. Okay, so up here it says S10 Club. And I'm pretty sure this isn't an S10. This truck doesn't even look like an S10. So I was just really confused when I saw that. Is this an S10? Is this an S10? So I always thought S10s were smaller. Like an S10 wouldn't even have that, right? It's like extended, maybe it's like extended cab S10, but this does not look like an S10. I remember my best friend had a little Isuzu, and it was pretty much an S10, and it was a standard. Nothing too special about this poster. I'm sure it was like back in the early 2000s, maybe not. I'm pretty sure whenever I got this, got the first CD of them, it was pretty recent to when they came out. There's not really anything back here to look at. And I don't even know what the names are of the performers, the artists. But there is a song that they actually talk about John Wayne. And they talk about how they know Kung Fu. And they're invincible. So it's got like a little bit of English in that song, but most of the other songs it has like no English, it's just all Chinese. But I don't know, when I listened to it, it was just really, I don't know, it's just really, really pretty music. They've got some slower stuff, some more upbeat stuff. And I know this video is like really short. It's actually shorter than I thought it was going to be, but oh, I didn't put that back in. But I'm thinking that you're only getting part of the video, because the rest of it is you going to the description and checking out the playlist and listening to this, their first CD. And if you do, let me know what you think about it. I don't think I've really actually shown anybody this before. And I actually don't like, well, besides like the 80s music, like the rock and roll, like 70s rock and roll, hair bands, all that, like classic rock and roll stations, like all of that I really love, but there's not very many artists outside of that genre that I like. So I really only got maybe like a handful of artists that I always stick with, that I feel like if someone were to ask me if you wanted to take music with you, which artist would you take? If you couldn't just pick a genre, which bands would you take with you? But anyway, I hate that this is a short video, but I don't know what else to say about this. So thank you for watching. Goodbye. Okay, so I actually decided to go ahead and show one of my other favorite bands, because I just felt really guilty for how short that other video was. I don't like to do that. I like to have as close to 30 minutes as possible. So here's I wouldn't even say it's the second or first favorite, it's just one of my most favorite bands ever. And this is going to be a vinyl, so it's a big jump from this to Lamb of God, also formerly known as Burn the Priest. I remember a friend showing me some, like, this is whenever I got into heavier stuff. I remember specifically it was Bullet for My Valentine, and then I listened to Walk With Me in Hell from Lamb of God, and I was sold, absolutely sold. And I think the most favorite part of that band is the drums for me, but unfortunately Chris Adler has separated from Lamb of God, which is sad, but Art Cruz does a really good job filling in his spot. Some things I know about the band: Randy Bly, the singer, actually was in prison in the Czech Republic not too far ago, and due to a misconception that he had, I'm pretty sure that the kid had passed away. Someone in the crowd had passed away, and they thought that in that concert, Randy had actually thrown a mic stand, I believe, and it had hit someone, and they thought that was the kid that he hit. So he was actually, for a while, thinking he was going to be put in prison and had killed somebody. And I actually think that this album came out after that. If this one has King Me on it, then it does. Well, this is a vinyl, so it doesn't have all of the songs on there. But I think King Me was the song. It's the album that King Me was on, was the one that he came out with after the kid that he actually threw the mic stand at, or whatever it was, on accident, of course, came out and said that he was okay. And so I guess obviously Randy didn't kill the other kid, which is sad that the other kid died, but anyway, a lot of their albums I can listen to all the way through. Some of them, not really. After Burn the Priest, they were still pretty hardcore with Lamb of God. I think like As the Palaces Burn, there's another one too. But then you have Sacrament and Wrath, and I'm gonna forget it. Hourglass? No, something else. I can't remember. Oh, also I think Randy Bly. I'm not sure about the other band members either, but he's like 50 something years old, and as of like almost 2 years ago, they just came out with their new self-titled CD called Lamb of God, and he's still kicking it and sounding better than ever. And I missed a chance to see them, Lamb of God, recently. Here, I'm kind of bummed out, but it's okay. I'm honestly not a big fan of concerts. I like the experience of being there, but I don't like the experience of all the other people around me. You know, that's just for me. But let's open this up. Oh, I guess someone didn't put them inside the sleeves. Or did I just take it out of the sleeves? Anyways. So Sturm und Drang, I'm not sure if I'm even saying that right. Let's see. I think the album before this, they kind of changed their sound a little bit, but not a lot. Eventually I got used to it, and I think everyone loves it too. I think it's the one that's got Ghost Walking on it. But this one's got like 512, and some things happened to me in my life, and it was really weird that the theme they went with in this album seemed to fit it perfectly, which is crazy because I would use Lamb of God songs to, if I was ever feeling like angry at a boss or something like that, I would really go and use their songs to help myself get through it, which I don't do very often, but I definitely needed them at this time, and I didn't even know they were coming out with an album, and literally the moment that the things that happened in my life, like they dropped this album, and it was just perfect. It really was. And it's actually kind of hard to listen to this album sometimes because it just really brings up memories and that feeling. But 5112 isn't the one that. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But they have another one, Still Echoes, and I think that's about the Holocaust. But you definitely, if you're into like metal or just hard stuff, you definitely need to take a look at this band. And this is actually used, as in, excuse me, my mom and brother got me this from, I think it's like Game Exchange. I guess they're doing records now, or probably have been for a while. But I was surprised that they even remembered that Lamb of God is one of my favorite bands, so it's really, really cool. It's the first vinyl I've ever had, and people probably can get mad from me touching it, but honestly, it's just a material thing. It would work just fine. But I didn't know, which makes sense. I mean, you have to take up a lot of space to etch these songs into the disc, but I was expecting it to have all the songs on there. Also, there's not any thin paper in these like I see in most vinyl cases. Torches, I think, has the guy from Deftones in it, I think. Pretty sure that's him, and I'm pretty sure that's the song. I know their their new album talks a lot about media, like actually Engage the Fear Machine does too. It's kind of talking about this one's talking about watching the news and everything and just seeing nothing but crap and just fearing for the world all the time because of it. And then in their new album, one of their songs is talking about, pretty much it's like if you watch the music video, it's talking about pretty much just letting the media control your life, and you just feel you start to feel like crappy, you know. My mom always talks about what's going on, and eventually I just kind of feel like I know all the bad stuff is happening, but unless I'm a politician or someone going out there and doing something about it, all it is just news to me. It's like it sucks, and it sucks thinking about it because you can't do too much about it. So in the end, I almost feel like I just want to purge myself from all that kind of stuff and just quit thinking about it, because whether or not I think about it, I'm not going to do anything, and the problem's going to be solved or not solved. Either way, I'm still going to be here doing the same stuff I'm always doing. So let's put these back right. But I think a lot of people are kind of tired of that as well. Just it's too much negativity to the point where you almost just have to choose to be someone who's going to be surrounded by that negativity all the time. Involve yourself in it and go out there and protest or become a politician or do something to change it. Or are you going to be someone who decides to try to live a less stressful life and leave it to the people who are more ambitious that way? Because if you're not, then what's the point of just always turning on the news just to see another bad thing happening? It's going to happen whether you've turned on the news or not. And maybe some people feel like it's wrong to ignore it. But is it really? If it starts to cause you problems, you worry so much about it. You know, are we going to be attacked today? Or who's going to attack someone else later? Or who's doing this and who's doing that? It may affect us down the line, but I don't think it's going to affect most of us to the point that it changes our lives completely. I think nowadays it's too hard to do that. There's too many people out there who are watching and saying, no, we're not going to take this anymore. I think the world has changed. But anyway, thanks for watching.